All right, everybody, it's
What's up, guys?
fantasy football with McLovein. Let's go right on into the news because we got news to talk about. We got a whole fucking heap of shit to talk about. The fact that the fucking Pats suck.
They don't suck. They cut a raw deal.
Yeah, raw deal is right. Raw fucking sexy type deal. All right, here we go. Okay. Let's see. Anything good? All right, well, listen to this. No, that's really bad. All right, let's talk about this. I mean, it's the first notable thing we can talk about. Matt Hasselbeck improves to 4-0 as Colts starting quarterback this season. With Sunday's 25-12 win over the Buccaneers, veteran quarterback Matt Hasselbeck won his fourth game in 4 starts this season for the Colts.
He's played extremely well. Won every game. You know, he's a veteran. He's a leader. You know, he is what he is. He's a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, but he's still winning games. Probably been the best backup to come in this year and step in for the starter who's out. They should probably remain with Hasselbeck because as long as you're winning with him, you know, don't change anything. So give him credit, give the Colts credit. You know, they've been back and forth as far as the ownership and the GM and the team and Luck being down. And now Hasselbeck has kind of brought them back together as a team single-handedly. So the more he's playing, the more they're winning. I think they're rallying around him as a leader. He's got, you know, past history as a starter, past history as, you know, being in a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. So I think they're rallying around him, and the more he continues to just, you know, do his thing, they're going to win football games and win that division.
Jeff Fisher says, critics of Rams' effort can, quote, kiss my ass. An angry Jeff Fisher made it clear his team's work ethic is not in question and said anyone implying the team isn't making an effort can kiss my ass.
Well, they're not. I don't want to kiss his ass, but I'm one of those people. I think Jeff Fisher's a terrible, terrible head coach. I don't think he's a leader. He's a dirty head coach. His players are, you know, by the end of the season, his players are worn down. They're not competitive. You know, they don't have a quarterback, which hurts them. And I just think St. Louis is done for the year. They got, unless they do something historical, they'll never make the playoffs. And that's kind of where St. Louis is at the end of every year is, you know, they have a decent team, but not a good enough team to get over the hump. Always have a decent defense. Their quarterback play is always questioned. So Jeff Fisher, he should get fired, but we'll see. I think people are still expecting a Jeff Fisher from the early 2000s when he had, you know, Eddie George and
Air McNair,
and, you know, when they went to the AFC, you know, championship, when they went to the Super Bowl against the greatest show on turf. Not the same coach, doesn't have the same talent, overrated completely, and now he's, you know, getting very defensive because he knows people are right about what they're saying about him.
Falcons stand behind Ryan won't change quarterbacks. Despite 4 straight losses, Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank and coach Dan Quinn are standing behind Matt Ryan and don't plan to change a quarterback.
Matt Ryan is what he is. You know, he always, you know, plays worse in the second. He's overrated to begin with, Matt Ryan as a whole. He's got a lot of talent. You know, he's thrown to arguably the best receiver in the NFL. Played every week. There's no excuses, but at times he looks really, really bad. And what you see is what you get for the rest of his career with Matt Ryan. I know a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people do. He's kind of either like him or you don't. I'm not a big fan of his. The only time, you know, because he's a Boston College kid. But, you know, his leadership qualities aren't there. I know he has some game-winning drives in the fourth quarter, but, you know, they're losing against teams they should never lose against. And I think they're very soft, no matter what. Atlanta's always a very, very soft team. And I think not having Freeman, you know, with his concussion has hurt them, but still at the same time, you know, Ryan needs to be a better leader and find, you know, Julio Jones more often. And, you know, the defense. I mean, at the beginning of the year, they were 3-4-0, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is a new Atlanta team. They got Dan Quinn. They're tough." And then they fall right back into the soft team that they are, and they always will be. So and the quarterback always gets more credit than he deserves and gets more blame than he deserves. But at the same time, he is Matt Ryan. He's got a lot of money. He's a franchise quarterback, and he's not doing a good enough job. They're going to have to hold on to make the playoffs now. After going and losing at San Francisco, losing at home against Minnesota, they're not as good as a team as they were early on. So, and I think direct reflection on the way Matt Ryan's playing.
Seahawks lose tight end Graham with his knee for the season. In the fourth quarter, Seahawks tight end Jimmy Graham tore the patella tendon in his right knee. Coach Pete Carroll said he'll need surgery and is out for the season.
It's a tough loss. He was really never a factor this year for Seattle. Not the factor that they wanted when they traded for him. And I think it was a lot had to do with what Russell Wilson's comfortable with. He's never been very comfortable, never played with the guy, so it's going to take a year just to begin with to get comfortable with him. And really never got into a swing, never really got in a comfortable setting with Wilson and the tight end. So you don't want to see a guy get hurt, but at the same time, I don't think it's that big of a loss. Like, he wasn't like a Gronkowski, to New England, or like an Olsen to Carolina. Jimmy Graham's a good tight end, but he wasn't. Seattle didn't rely on him a big deal. So it sucks that he went down, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to hinder Seattle's progress going forward, especially on their offense.
Rodgers pans the team's prep, denies players meeting. Speaking to reporters Sunday, Aaron Rodgers was critical of the Packers' preparation and denied the assertion made during an NBC telecast that the team recently held a players-only meeting.
Well, something's going on. I hope they did it because Aaron Rodgers he's a whole different quarterback. He's not spunky. He's not live. I don't know if he has, his confidence has gone all away from the people he's throwing to. The running game has been terrible. Lacy, hasn't been playing well all year, which is Eddie Lacy. Starks has been the lone bright spot, but at the same time, he doesn't have his targets. He doesn't have his main guys. Not as bad now as Tom Brady, but at the same time, 3 of the last 4 games, Green Bay just has not gotten into a groove. They cannot move the ball consistently, and it's affecting them, and it's affecting, the quarterback who Rodgers is, a Hall of Famer, everything like that, but he's not playing like one. He's not leading like one. There's something going on behind closed doors that we don't know about, because it's translating to the field, where they have been very, very unsuccessful. Losing to games to Chicago at home, it's just like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, this never happened. Losing to Detroit at home, it's just sad. It's terrible. Something's going on, and until they figure that out, they're going to be right there, and Minnesota's just going to run away with the division. So, they got to start winning games.
Big Ben suffers concussion and lost to Seahawks. Ben Roethlisberger suffered a concussion Sunday, and the Steelers lost to the Seahawks. He left the field in the fourth quarter and was placed in the league's concussion protocol.
Yeah, I just heard updates today that he practiced today. He still has to pass some tests, but Pittsburgh knows that, and Ben's a tough bastard. Pittsburgh knows that they need him, and Pittsburgh knows that there really is no one on on the bench. They tried to play Landry, but they ended up just yanking him for an injured Roethlisberger who threw for like 400 yards. So they know, if he gets cleared, he's going to have to play. Roethlisberger is Pittsburgh's only shot at winning games and getting into the playoffs. I think he will play. He's a tough guy. He's a guy that can play for my team any day of the week. He's tough. He's strong. He's good. He'll play through just about anything. He's competitive. He's a big tree. It's tough to bring him down. He's been through many injuries. He's a pro. He's a veteran. I'll take him any day of the week. And I know, so will Pittsburgh. Those guys on the offense, trust me, they want Roethlisberger playing instead of Jarvis Landry or Michael Vick, because he gets it to Brown, and D'Angelo Williams playing a lot better in the backfield running the ball. So Big Ben, a healthy Big Ben is definitely what Pittsburgh needs for the rest of the year. Offensive
coordinator Laser, latest coach fired by anemic Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, who haven't won an AFC East game in almost a calendar year, fired offensive coordinator Bill Lazor in an attempt to break the team's slide.
Yeah, it's they can, like we said, the Dolphins suck. And I know they played that one good game when they had the new head coach and they looked like the Dolphins, they're playing New England now, look out, and then they get fucking shellacked by New England. I think this is once again it was just kind of like the defensive coordinator Rob Ryan in New Orleans. Someone's got to take the fall. I mean, is it his fault? Completely no, but he's responsible for the offense, and the offense sucks. Now, this offense has sucked since day one. I mean, so, yes, I think they're just going to, periodically they're going to just start firing people so they don't have to fire as much when the season's over. But Blazer, Kaiser, whatever the fuck his name is, he's on the street and probably where he deserves to be because that offense is terrible.
Brady takes overtime loss hard, says he's, quote, pissed off. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady said he doesn't remember a time he'd, quote, ever been so pissed off as much as after New England's overtime defeat to the Broncos.
He's that just shows you how competitive he is, and we'll never see another competitor like that ever on the football field. He took it hard, which he should, because that's his team, and all things considered across the board, Denver was the better team that night, and they won the game. Now, if you want to start talking officiating, the officials really did a great job to screw over the Patriots, which you can't blame it on I'm not blaming the losses on the officials, but you can't fumble a punt on the road, and then expect to win. You can't have all these holding calls, even when Gronk went down, no other quarterback in the league goes and gets a field goal with nobody. I mean, nobody. After having the crowd into it, they just scored a touchdown. There's not one quarterback out there that can get a field goal right then. There's probably not another kicker out there that can make that field goal. So, just the fact that they still have that, yes, their weapons they're deflated. They got nothing on offense, nothing. I think we were talking about them signing Terrell Owens and Randy Moss, which I'd take in a sec. But he's a competitor. He expects to win every time out, and he usually does. But when it's something, the world's aligned, whatever the moon was, passing over Jupiter, whatever happens, because in that span of about 15 minutes, they fumbled, they lost Gronkowski, and then they lost in overtime, which it sucked. But now they got to, like I said, last 5 shows, no one's going to feel bad for your injuries. No one's going to call up and be like, "Hello, Mr. Belichick, we really feel bad for you. We're going to send you some flowers and the fucking cheese and whatever." No one feels bad. No one feels bad for injury, especially no one feels bad for New England. So you know what? They got to find replacements, strap them up, and go win. So we'll see where it goes.
Panthers bring cornerback Finnegan out of retirement. Cortland Finnegan has come out of retirement to sign with the Panthers, who are expected to be without injured cornerback Charles Tillman for a few more games.
Yeah, this guy's a player. I didn't even realize he was retired. Obviously, coming back off retirement, come back off of sitting on the couch for X amount of weeks and not really doing much. It's going to be he is Cortland Finnegan, but it's not the same guy. There's a reason why he was retired. There was a reason why he had given up football. But for him to come back, yeah, maybe more of a leadership role early, until he gets his feet going and getting in shape and everything like that. But it can't hurt. So yeah, he's a good leader. He's a winner. So he should definitely help them at some point.
Colts put running back Bradshaw on IR with wrist injury. For the third straight year, running back Ahmad Bradshaw's season was cut short as the Colts put him on injured reserve. He injured his wrist Sunday against the Buccaneers.
This guy, he's a great talent. I remember watching him at Marshall. Gets injured obviously all the time. Not very durable. I remember one time he took a 2-week hiatus to go to jail for a weapons charge just during the middle of the season. So no one really ever clarified that or whatever. But there's like I said to just about everybody else. There's a reason why these guys bounce around from teams, and it's either because they're not good the teams don't see the value in him, or they continue to get injured and they just can't deal with it. So he's another guy that continues to get hurt. He'll probably be on another team next year at cheap until he gets hurt again. So we'll see. It's too bad because in the NFL it seems like once you get injured once, you're going to be injured for the rest of your career, which we're seeing with Gronkowski. Injuries. If there were no injuries, he would be. Well, he already is the best tight end of all time, but these injuries are making it so it's taking him more years than it should. But some guys just are injured. Bottom line, they are injured. And that stays with him for all time. So we'll see what happens next year with Bradshaw.
Kelly, never talked to USC, Eagles only focus. Chip Kelly again made it clear he's committed to the Eagles and said he's not been involved with any of the open college football coaching vacancies.
Do I believe that? No. I'm sure everybody and their mothers call him Chip Kelly. He's done a disaster. He's just been a disaster, and then ownership in Philly has no one to blame but themselves because they gave full control over to him, and they're even worse than they were the last couple of years. Obviously his game's not translating from the NCAA level to the NFL level. I still think he's a brilliant offensive-minded coach, but I think that what he's suited to be is an NCAA coach. I think I don't know how long his leash is now with Philly because it doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs. They're not a good football team, and I guess if they can take another losing season, maybe he gets one more shot. But eventually, he's going to end up back in college football because he's going to get fired at Philly, and then. Everybody, people will fire their head coach at any college, whether they just won a Super Bowl, a championship or not, because he'll keep pick and choose his job. So either way, he's been a failure in Philly. He's going to continue to be a failure, but when he gets fired there, he's going to have his pick of the litter where he wants to go. Maybe he will end up at USC. Or eventually, but right now he's got to tough out his shitty Philadelphia team.
Rams coach Fisher, Bailey improving in ICU. Stedman Bailey remains in the intensive care unit of a South Florida hospital, but is progressing in his recovery from 2 gunshot wounds to the head, Rams coach Jeff Fisher said.
Yeah, I still haven't heard anything reason what was behind it getting shot in the head twice. I really can't comment on it until I know what's happening, but he must have done something wrong. That's all I can say is that he pissed somebody off where they wanted to fucking kill him, shoot him twice in the head. So, it's just one of those things that these guys continue to put themselves in bad spots and affect their, their livelihood, their job, their life. So, we'll see if there's anything more that comes out. Yeah, I guess, Jeff Fisher's making the right move by, I guess going to see him in the hospital. I don't know if it's a PR move or whatever, but yeah, it's too bad that he got shot.
Browns quarterback McCown injures collarbone in loss. Josh McCown exited Monday night's loss with a collarbone injury in the fourth quarter and left the locker room with his right arm in a sling. He had x-rays and is set for more tests Tuesday. This is written on Monday. Obviously, now we know he's out for the season.
Correct.
And Austin Davis is now the starting quarterback, not Manziel.
Well, Manziel's a backup. Who's eventually going to be playing, and here we go with the. I don't know anything about this quarterback. He's not good. Cleveland's Cleveland. They're not going to win. They suck. They're playing Cincinnati this week. They're going to get fucking blasted. We'll eventually see Manziel again. He's going to get his way again. You know what? I'm really sick about talking about Cleveland because it's just they suck. The head coach sucks. The team sucks. They can't win. When they have a shot to win, they get the field goal kick blocked all the way back to the house. And yes, it is Cleveland, and they suck. And until they get a new head coach and some players, but this is the same Cleveland team that we're talking about every single year. That's just absolute garbage. And they continue, no matter what coach they have, no matter what GM they have, no matter who the fucking owner is, and everything like that. Jim Brown's not walking through that door, guys. They suck. They just fucking suck. And hopefully, I'm just waiting for the season to get over so I don't have to talk about the Browns and fucking Johnny Football anymore.
Sources: Big Ben concussion steps investigated. The NFL and NFLPA are investigating the independent spotter system put in place to help with concussion awareness and the events surrounding Ben Roethlisberger's injury.
Yeah, I think they're taking a look at, Pittsburgh could be doing some funny business here, trying to skip a few steps with the concussion because they know how bad that's. They need Ben. I mean, like I said, and like I said all year, these concussions are a big fucking deal. Like the concussions. They're treating concussions higher than winning, higher than money, everything like that, because they're just trying to save their ass. That's it. They don't want to get sued. They don't want to have Roethlisberger's family sue. Even though Ben says, yeah, okay, I could still get a concussion and die. He'll still play, but unless it's like recorded or they have it on signing, and even if he agrees that if he goes down, he might not come back. The Roethlisberger family can still go and sue if he's not, even though he says he's good to play when he's not, and they still play him. So, I think St. Louis is going through that right now. But yeah, they're so serious about this concussion thing.
Sweaty men.
Yeah, so much sweat.
Steelers say Roethlisberger to stay in protocol. Pittsburgh Steelers coach Mike Tomlin said Ben Roethlisberger, despite the quarterback's claim that he's feeling better and doesn't have a concussion, will remain in protocol.
Yeah, I think this is the third time we've talked about this. He needs to pass all the tests to play. Bottom line, end of story. If he's cleared to play, he's cleared to play. If he's not cleared to play, then he won't play. And that's it.
Cards put Johnson on IR, could return for Super Bowl 50. Running back Chris Johnson has been placed on IR with a fractured tibia, but could return in time for the Super Bowl if the Cardinals advance.
Yeah, he was having a great year. Once again, the injury bug came and bit him again, which has, been his problem. 16 games, that's a long season. 20 weeks playing, getting into 20 car accidents every week is, people get hurt. And, unfortunately, it seems like this year a lot of people have gone down hurt. And a lot of, specific, top-notch guys, including Johnson. So, if everything plans out right and Arizona goes to the Super Bowl, then they can possibly get him back. So I think that's what Arizona fans are hoping for right now.
Owners okay. Compensatory pick trading in 2017. NFL owners on Wednesday approved the trading of compensatory draft picks in 2017 and shortened the legal tampering window before free agency from 3 days to 2.
So compensatory picks are picks that are added on the end of the round. So if you have a guy like, I don't know, a really good player that's up for his like a guy like Doug Martin, okay, who's up for his contract this year. If Doug Martin leaves Tampa Bay to go to another team, the Bucs will get a compensatory pick, which are added on to the late of the fifth, sixth, seventh rounds. Now the tampering thing, it happens all the time. They're trying to do away with all this tampering thing. I remember when I was in San Francisco and we were talking with Nate Clements and can't think of the offensive tackle's name, Jonas Jennings, and the old defensive tackle that used to play with Cincinnati. Smith, can't think of his first name. Do you remember the guy's a stud? He's a Hall of Famer.
Aldon Smith? I have no idea.
No. He played defensive tackle. He was a Cowboy, white guy, huge, best defensive tackle in the NFL, like the last 3 years.
He was playing last year?
Yeah. Justin Smith.
Oh,
yeah, you do. Anyway, so the tampering thing, it's so it happens. Technically, it doesn't happen, but they're talking before, and now they're just trying to eliminate it. Try to cut it by a day. That's all.
All right, Falcons Quinn okay with players-only meeting. Coach Dan Quinn had no problem with his Falcons calling a players-only meeting on Monday in an attempt to get things turned around after a 4-game skid.
Yeah, they need some teams need that, and anytime you're on a team and something's not going right, it's different meeting with just the team than having the head coach there. People act different when the head coach is in the room, when the head coach is not in the room. That's just life. I mean, anytime you have a boss, you're going to act different with the boss inside the room than outside the room. Okay, so players only meetings, I encourage that for teams that aren't playing well, because you can actually come out and say a lot of different stuff in the players only meeting that you couldn't say in front of the head coach or the owner or the GM or whatever. So
Like I fucked your wife.
correct, yeah, one of those things, or the daughter or the dog for that matter, you know. So yeah, players only meetings are productive as far as I'm concerned.
Big Ben still unsure whether he had concussion. Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger has been cleared to practice after undergoing tests the past 2 days under the concussion protocol.
He had a concussion, definitely had a concussion. This is the same thing that Bradford said. Like, guys that get concussions, they're not sure if they had a concussion because of their memory loss. So it's a bunch of funny business. You know, they're doing these tests for a reason, not just because they want to. Yeah,
sweaty.
So sweaty sex. Yeah. Okay.
Chip Kelly tells players, "I've never been leaving." Eagles coach Chip Kelly said he addressed with players a perception that he was a candidate for a college coaching job and assured them he was not planning to leave.
He's got to leave at some point. I think he's got to ride out his Philly, his experiment in Philly, the mad football offensive genius, which is going to fail. He's going to end up back in college football because it's going to happen. Bottom line, that's where he belongs. It's great that he tried it out, and but
You think he has sex with college women?
yes,
Okay. Would you?
yes.
What happens if they were fat?
That's a slump buster.
Oh, okay.
You know what a slump buster
No,
is, right?
no.
A slump buster
No.
is like
So if you're going through a slump with hot women, you just fuck one.
No.
Right?
Like slump busters came back in the 70s and 80s in Major League Baseball. Is that when you're in a slump, like 1 for 50 and 1 for 20, you go out and have to bang a heavy broad and it work. That's like Tuccio from work. He was 1 for whatever. I was like, you have to go bust your slump and go out and find a plus size gal, and you have to bang
Plus size gal, see?
Yeah.
A plus size dame. Man.
So
Improving JPP wants to finish career with Giants. Jason Pierre-Paul says he wants to be back with the Giants next year and finish his career with the team as he continues to improve on the field and feel better about his damaged right hand. No more jacking off for him.
Well, the thing with him is, he finally realized that he had to come back and play because he needed to get paid. And whether he has 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers, he still is a very good defensive end that can get to the quarterback. Now, just blowing off his hand, he threw X amount of millions out because no matter what. He's still going to be the same player, yes, but he's, a finger and a half short, automatically he's not the same player he was before he decided to pick up a fucking firecracker and let it go off in his hand. That just shows you the type of mental capacity this guy has. But he's going to get it cheaper. The Giants will probably sign him, but for a lot cheaper than he would have been signed.
Sign him for pennies on the cracker.
Yeah.
Eagles Bradford expects to make return Sunday. Sam Bradford, recovering from a concussion and separated shoulder, said he expects to be back under center when the Eagles play the Patriots this Sunday. Which sucks because I'd rather be facing Sanchez than him.
Nah, either way, they're both terrible quarterbacks. Yeah, I think if the Patriots can kind of get some of their defensive guys back and get some pressure. I don't think Bradford he's a terrible quarterback. He's a pussy, he's a little baby, so I don't think he should be good at all.
All right, time for transactions. You ready?
Yeah.
Thursday the 26th, okay, day after on Thanksgiving Day. Eagles waive linebacker Emmanuel Ochoa, signed wide receiver Jonathan Krause on the practice squad.
No.
Saints place cornerback Keenan Lewis on injured reserve, signed cornerback Chris Owens.
No.
Patriots place wide receiver Aaron Dobson on injured reserve, signed defensive back Dewey McDonald.
No.
Dolphins released defensive tackle DeAndre Coleman from the practice squad, signed defensive back Dak Swanson to the practice squad.
No.
Broncos placed defensive end Kenny Anuike on injured reserve. Anuike. Signed quarterback Christian Ponder. We talked about that signing. Wait a minute. Oh, no wonder. These are all, no, we're fine. Yeah. All right. Panthers placed guard Amini Silatolu on injured reserve, signed long snapper Danny Aiken.
No.
Falcons waived linebacker Joplo Bartu, signed place kicker Shane Graham.
No.
Cardinals placed linebacker Lamar Woodley on injured reserve, signed defensive tackle Red Bryant.
Lamar Woodley?
Lamar Woodley.
On
Injured reserve.
Oh, he's a stud. Love Lamar Woodley.
Friday the 27th, Redskins signed cornerback Deshaun Phillips, placed cornerback Chris Culliver on injured reserve.
No.
Eagles signed defensive back Jalen Watkins from Buffalo's practice squad, placed cornerback Nolan Carroll on injured reserve.
No.
Nolan Carroll? No, nothing about him?
Who's Nolan Carroll?
You've never heard he's the Eagles cornerback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so listen.
Yeah.
All right? You're just saying no just to say no, aren't you?
No.
Just fucking listen to the deal.
I'm trying.
Okay, Patriots released linebacker Eric Martin.
No.
All right. Bengals activated offensive tackle Cedric Ogube from the reserve non-football injury list, placed cornerback Darqueze Dennard on injured reserve.
No.
All right, Saturday the 28th, Titans signed linebacker Yannick Cujo-Virgil from the practice squad, waived wide receiver Rico Richardson.
No.
Seahawks activated cornerback Jeremy Lane from the physically unable to perform list, released running back Bryce Brown.
No.
Bears signed long snapper Patrick Scales, waived long snapper Thomas Gafford.
No.
Sunday there was nothing. Monday the 30th, Redskins signed cornerback Jeremy Harris to the practice squad.
No.
Titans signed wide receiver Rico Richardson to the practice squad.
No.
Buccaneers waived safety Kimario McFadden, signed linebacker Adarius Galanton from Carolina's practice squad.
No.
Seahawks placed tight end Jimmy Graham on injured reserve. We know about that. Signed defensive tackle AJ Francis from the practice squad.
No.
Eagles released offensive lineman Julian Vandervelde, signed offensive lineman Barrett Jones from Chicago's practice squad, and cornerback Mike Lee and linebacker Brandon Hepburn to the practice squad.
No.
Giants placed guard Jeff Schwartz on injured reserve, signed guard Adam Geddes from Oakland's practice squad.
No.
Patriots released wide receiver Chris Harper, the guy who fumbled the punt, but we know they re-signed him to the practice squad today.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, you can't fuck around.
Vikings released linebacker Terrence Plummer from the practice squad, signed safety John Loudermilk to the practice squad.
No.
Dolphins waived linebacker James Michael Johnson, re-signed offensive lineman Jocks McClendon.
No.
McClendon. Chiefs signed center Daniel Munier to the practice squad.
No.
Colts placed running back Ahmad Bradshaw on injured reserve. We talked about that. Signed running back Zerlin Tipton.
No.
Lions placed cornerback Alex Carter on injured reserve.
No.
Cowboys waived running back Trey Williams, who I believe the Patriots picked up.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Bengals waived linebacker Sean Porter from the physically unable to perform list, released guard Dan France from the practice squad, signed cornerback Asa Jackson to the practice squad.
No.
Bears signed center Cornelius Edison to the practice squad.
No.
Panthers released long snapper Danny Aiken, signed defensive back Cortland Finnegan. We talked about Finnegan.
Finnegan's a player, yeah.
Bills placed defensive tackle Kyle Williams on injured reserve, signed defensive tackle TJ Barnes, defensive end LeVar Edwards, and linebacker Kevin Reddick.
Kyle Williams is a Pro Bowler. That sucks that he went down for them. It's a big loss for Buffalo's defense.
Ravens waived wide receiver Chuck Jacobs, placed tight end Chase Ford on injured reserve, signed wide receiver Daniel Brown, and guard Caleb Johnson from the practice squad.
No.
All right, this is Tuesday. This is yesterday. Seahawks relief center Drew Nowak, released defensive end Julius Wormsley from the practice squad, signed tight end Chase Kaufman, signed wide receiver Deshaun Fox, and defensive tackle Justin Hamilton in the practice squad.
Deshaun Fox, former UConn Husky, but he's on the street, right?
No, they signed him.
Who did?
Seahawks.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Jets signed linebacker Julian Stanford to the practice squad.
No.
Giants placed guard Jeff Schwartz on injured reserve, signed guard Adam Geddes from the Oakland's practice squad.
No.
All right, Patriots placed defensive lineman Trey Flowers on injured reserve, claimed running back Trey Williams off waivers from Dallas, signed wide receiver Demarius Johnson, re-signed wide receiver Austin Hill to the practice squad.
Okay.
Any comments?
Well, I think that the picking up the running back, like we just talked about, is a big deal.
Yep.
They need all the talent they can get.
What about Trey Flowers? Any whatever?
He was a good player, and it's unfortunate that he's done for the year.
Vikings release linebacker Terrence Plummer from the practice squad, signed safety John Loudermilk to the practice squad. Dolphins waived to injured defensive tackle C.J. Mosley, waived linebacker James Michael Johnson, re-signed offensive lineman Jocks McClendon.
C.J. Mosley, former linebacker for Crimson Tide in Alabama. So he was a really good player in college.
Chiefs signed center Daniel Munyard to the practice squad. Broncos waived tight end Richard Gordon, signed safety Josh Bush. Cowboys relief safety Tim Scott from the practice squad. Carolina released long snapper Danny Aiken, signed defensive back Cortland Finnegan. We talked about that. Bills placed defensive tackle Kyle Williams on injuries. We talked about all that. Ravens released. We talked about him. And then the Cardinals, here we go. Place running back Chris Johnson on injured reserve designated for return. Released cornerback Robert Nelson Jr. Signed cornerback Corey White. Released tight end Brandon Bostic from the practice squad. Brandon Bostic, by the way, is the Green Bay Packers guy who blew the game. In the playoffs, signed running back Kerwin Williams from the practice squad and safety DJ Swearinger to the practice squad.
Well, none of the except for Chris Johnson, who's a big deal.
Yep. And then today, Buccaneers signed safety Kimario McFadden to the practice squad, released defensive back Akeem Davis from the practice squad. Patriots signed wide receiver Chris Harper, we talked about that, and defensive lineman Kelsey Quarries to the practice squad. Dolphins signed defensive tackle Robert Thomas from New England's squad, waived injured defensive tackle C.J. Mosley. Chiefs placed guard Ben Grubbs on injured reserve, signed center Daniel Munyard from the practice squad.
Ben Grubbs, top-notch guard. Loved him. Too bad he's done.
Cowboys placed defensive end Ryan Russell injured reserve, activated offensive tackle Chaz Green from the physically unable to perform list, signed quarterback Kellen Moore from the practice squad, signed running back Ben Malena, cornerback Terrence Mitchell, and defensive end Effa Obata to the practice squad. Browns placed quarterback Josh McCown on injured reserve, signed wide receiver Terrell Pryor, signed offensive lineman Dan France to the practice squad, released offensive lineman Ronald Patrick from the practice squad. Isn't that the same Terrell Pryor who was a quarterback?
He was.
So now he's a wide receiver?
Yeah, he couldn't.
Wasn't Terrell Pryor fat? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, he was a quarterback in college.
Oh, he was. All right.
They converted him.
Converted him, okay. Yeah. And then the Cardinals signed running back Abu Torre to the practice squad. All right, let's go to the scoreboard, C. I'll go over the games, C. All right, let's go over the standings first before we go into this. Let me just get Week 13 up on the fucking... remember, guys, call us. What's your phone number?
650-863-0699.
Yeah, if you want to be part of the show, call the fucking number. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. Nobody called. I think people forgot. I'm going to have to do another quick video.
I did a review. I told them to call.
When?
Before we came on air.
Oh, you emailed them?
Yeah, I sent out another deal.
Yeah, well, nobody fucking called.
Yeah, no one called. So.
Well, people suck. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So, last week, in the Peon division, yes to anything that is cool, awesome, and James LeBlanc both went 9-7, and CV Gunn went 11-5. So the standings as of now: CV Gunn in first at 72-47, and then James LeBlanc and yes to anything that is cool, awesome, both tied at 68-51, 4 games back.
And I got an email from CV Gunn saying that he would be beating me right now if he didn't miss that 1 week, but it's too bad. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Still beating you, and I will continue to beat you. I know, what is he has beaten me.
He beat you this week. No, that was yes to anything that's cool, awesome has beaten you 4 weeks, but CV Gunn has beaten you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And last week was another week.
Okay.
So
well, good job, guy. I
got to send another gift card out to CV Gunn.
Sure, congratulations. But I will be the overall winner at the end of the year.
All right, here we go. In our division, last week, Steve Goldman went 8-8. And both me and McLovein went 10-6. So the standings are as follows: McLovein in first at 80-55. Second place, me at 72-63, 8 games out. And then last place, Steve Goldman, 69-66, 11 games out, 3 games behind me. And let's go into the games. We have on Thursday night Green Bay 7-4 at Detroit 4-7. Green Bay's favored by 3 on the road.
Green Bay minus the 3.
Jets 6-5 at the Giants 5-6. And the Jets are favored by 1 on the road.
Take the Jets minus the 1.
Cardinals 9-2 at the Rams 4-7, and the Cardinals are favored by 7 on the road.
Cardinals minus 7.
Falcons 6-5 at the Buccaneers 5-6. It is even.
Falcons.
Seahawks 6-5 at Vikings 8-3, and it is even.
Minnesota.
Texans 6-5 at the Bills 5-6. Buffalo is favored at home by 3.
Houston +3.
Ravens 4-7 at Miami 4-7. Miami's favored at home by 4.
Miami -4.
Bengals 9-2 at the Browns 2-9. Cincinnati on the road is favored by 10.5.
Cincinnati -10.5.
Jaguars 4-7 at the Titans 2-9. By the way, Tennessee's 0-6 at home. Tennessee's favored at home by 2.5.
Jacksonville +2.5.
49ers 3-8. They have not won a game on the road. Bears 5-6. Chicago 7.5. Favored by 7.5 at home.
San Francisco +7.5.
1.5. So you're taking 49ers plus 7.5.
Yeah.
Ooh. Broncos 9-2 at the Chargers 3-8. Denver is favored by 4 on the road.
Denver -4.
Chiefs 6-5 at the Raiders 5-6. Kansas City is favored by 2.5 on the road.
Oakland +2.5.
Panthers 11-0 versus the Saints 4-7. Carolina is favored by 7.5 on the road.
Carolina -7.5.
Eagles 4-7 against the Patriots 10-1. New England's favored by 11 at home.
Philly +11.
Yeah, I'd take that too. And the Sunday night game, Colts 6-5 against the Steelers 6-5. No line on it yet.
Take Pittsburgh.
And Monday night's game, Cowboys 3-8 at the Redskins 5-6. Washington's at home by Washington's favored at home by 4.5.
Dallas +4.5.
All right, so let's go back up there and let's see what the hell we got. So we got Packers, Lions. Who are you taking?
Packers.
Pat and me. Green Bay, Green Bay. Okay, Jets and Giants.
Jets.
Ooh, I was surprised by that because I thought you'd take the Giants. I'm also taking the Jets. Cardinals, Rams.
Cardinals.
Okay, Arizona, we're fine. Falcons, Buccaneers.
Falcons.
I'm going to take Tampa at home. What are you going to do? Seahawks, Seahawks, Vikings.
Minnesota.
Taking Seattle. So you're taking Minnesota. I'm taking Seattle. Texans, Bills.
Houston.
Yep. Okay. Then we got Ravens, Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Ooh. Thought you'd take Baltimore. All right, we're fine there. Bengals, Browns.
Bengals.
Yep. Then we got Jaguars, Titans.
Jaguars.
Okay. We're fine there. 49ers, Bears.
Bears.
Wow, okay. Yep. Then we got Broncos, Chargers.
Denver.
Yep. Chiefs, Raiders.
Chiefs.
Yep. Panthers, Saints.
Panthers. You thinking about the upset?
Yeah, I was. Eagles, Patriots.
Pats.
Taking the Eagles.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I'm serious, man.
Why?
Because
This guy, he's negative. He's in negative town right now.
because I pray to God that the fucking Pats win. But they have no. Here's the thing. The Eagles, as ridiculous as they are. But as ridiculous as they are, they have DeMarco Murray, okay? They got Darren Sproles, okay? They got shifty running backs, okay? They have decent wide receivers. The Patriots have nobody.
They're at home.
They're at home with nobody. Gronk's out.
Yeah.
Amendola is not going to play. Even though he says he's in practice and la-di-da, he's not playing.
Okay.
So you got Brandon LaFell.
Yep.
And who?
Brandon Bolden.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking the Eagles.
Wow.
I'm taking
You
the
want to
Eagles.
bet on it?
No, because I never bet against my team for or against, but I'm
Do
taking
you
the
want
Eagles.
to make any of those interesting?
So far, the only games we have are Atlanta, Tampa, and Minnesota, Seattle. Not really.
So
I'll bet on the Minnesota, Seattle game.
okay, I'll take Minnesota.
Yeah, I know. I've taken Seattle. $20. All right.
And just
I owe you 60, by the way.
Which
I
we're
owe
gonna
you
get
60.
right after this.
Yeah,
so
right after this. Yep. So he can do his thing. All right, Colts Steelers.
Steelers.
Really? You're taking Pitt. I'm taking. You're taking Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Colts.
Okay.
Hasselback 4-0.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
See?
then Cowboys Redskins.
What a doozy. I think the Cowboys beat them. Cowboys are going to win.
Okay, I'm taking Washington.
Okay.
So we have 5 games. If I win all 5,
3 games back.
3 games back. I pray to God that I lose the New England Eagles game. So I can only be 5 games back. I'll get 3 on it. But all right, guys, that's been the show. Remember, Wednesday, 6:30 Eastern time.
I thought we'd get at least one
phone call
you
from
know,
somebody.
I guess, maybe you forgot or you just, I know one guy said that he's definitely going to call in. He never called in. But, we missed you. I was waiting all week for this 6:30 so I could talk to people on the phone. But I understand you got better things to do.
So that's what happens. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, fuckers.
See ya.